Imagine a world where it rains metal, where the skies are filled with clouds of sulfuric acid, a place so hot it could melt lead and crush a spacecraft in minutes. This isn't a sci-fi nightmare. This is Venus, Earth's twisted twin. And for a brief moment in history, humanity dared to go there. But then, we stopped. Today, we uncover the chilling mystery behind one of the most ambitious, abandoned chapters in space exploration. Why did we turn our backs on the planet closest to us? And more importantly, what did we find on Venus that made us walk away? Stay with us. This journey may just change how you see your place in the cosmos. Venus? To the naked eye, it's beautiful. The third brightest object in our sky after the sun and moon. Named after the Roman goddess of love. But behind that glowing light is something far more hostile, a hellscape, with surface temperatures reaching nearly 900 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hotter than Mercury, despite being farther from the sun. Venus defies logic. Its atmosphere is thick with carbon dioxide, its clouds pure sulfuric acid, and the pressure on the surface 90 times that of Earth. That's the equivalent of being 3,000 feet underwater. It's not just uninhabitable, it's destructive. And yet, in the 1960s, during the height of the Cold War, both the United States and the Soviet Union locked eyes on this planet. Not to flee from it, but to conquer it. We often hear about the moon race, Apollo 11, the American flag, Neil Armstrong's famous words. But there was another race, quieter, deadlier, stranger. The race to Venus. And this was where the Soviets turned their full attention. Between 1961 and 1984, the Soviet Union launched over 30 missions to Venus under the Venera and Vega programs. Some never made it. Others burned up. A few survived. Venera 7 was the first spacecraft to land on another planet and transmit data back. It lasted just 23 minutes before being silenced forever. Then came Venera 9, which sent the first black and white images from the surface of Venus. Twisted rocks, dim light, a sky that bent physics. Venera 13 followed, and for 127 minutes, it transmitted sound. Yes, actual audio from the surface of another world. The sounds of crushing pressure, blazing heat, an atmosphere so thick it was like swimming in carbon. At first, the data seemed like confirmation of what was already suspected. Venus is a dead world. But then, strange things began to appear. Photos from the Venera landers showed what looked like movement, anomalies, geometric shapes, objects that seemed to shift between photos. Soviet scientists, and later independent researchers, speculated, were these glitches, equipment errors, or something else? Then came the chemical anomalies. Phosphine, a gas detected in the Venusian atmosphere by Earth-based telescopes in 2020. A molecule associated with microbial life in anaerobic environments on Earth. Suddenly, Venus was back in the headlines. Not just as a scorching wasteland, but as a possible harbor for life. After the 1980s, silence. NASA turned its attention to Mars, the outer planets, and deep space. The Soviets collapsed. Venus, once the crown jewel of exploration, became a ghost. Why? Officially, cost, risk, priorities. Unofficially, some believe The conditions on Venus were simply too dangerous, unpredictable, uncooperative. Spacecraft lasted minutes before failing. Electronics melted. Instruments warped. Others believe we saw enough, more than enough. There's a theory that what was discovered, whether it be chemical traces, atmospheric signals, or the strange anomalies in the photos, was too unclear and too unsettling. And in science, the unknown can be more terrifying than the known. Venus may be inhospitable to life as we know it, but it is a laboratory for understanding Earth's future. Its runaway greenhouse effect is what climate scientists fear most. A mirror of what could happen here if our own CO2 levels spiral out of control. In many ways, studying Venus is like studying our own death, in slow motion. Yet the deeper we look, the more paradoxes we uncover. Some regions of Venus's upper atmosphere are Earth-like. Some parts of its magnetosphere behave unexpectedly, and those elusive signals, whether far-seen, radio pulses, or odd temperature inversions, remain unexplained. Here's the wildest theory of all. What if Venus isn't lifeless? Not on the surface, that's impossible. But high in the atmosphere, around 30 to 40 miles up, temperatures and pressures are relatively Earth-like. Some scientists believe that ancient microbes, if Venus once had water, may have migrated to the clouds and adapted. Life, not as we imagine it, but as chemistry allows it. Living in droplets, feeding off sulfur, invisible to our telescopes, but real nonetheless. Could this be why phosphine was detected? Could this be why we're quietly planning a return? After decades of silence, something is changing. NASA's Veritas mission and the European Space Agency's Envision probe are both planned for the 2030s. India and Russia have announced their own intentions. And most surprising of all, a private mission by Rocket Lab, aiming to drop a tiny probe into Venus's clouds. Why now? Because we finally have the technology to survive it, to see deeper, to measure more precisely. But also because the questions have piled too high. Too many puzzles. Too many whispers. It's as if Venus has been waiting. There's a chilling thought echoed in scientific circles that maybe some worlds don't want to be explored. Venus has been unusually hostile to attempts to study it. Every mission has been met with failure, corruption, or silence. Almost like resistance. Of course, this is poetic speculation. But then again, space exploration has always walked the line between science and myth. And Venus, with its beauty, danger, and mystery, might be the most mythic of them all. Venus is Earth's twin, only in size and gravity. In every other way, it's our opposite. A reminder of what can happen when a planet spirals out of balance. A glimpse at the kind of hostile beauty the universe holds. And maybe, just maybe, a second chance to ask questions we once feared to answer. So as we prepare to return, we must wonder, what will we find this time? And will we be ready for the answer? If this story sparked your curiosity, don't let it stop here. Hit the like button to support future deep dives. Subscribe to join us on more journeys through the cosmos. And share this video with someone who still thinks Venus is just a pretty light in the sky. Because the truth is much stranger. There's a growing realization among client scientists Venus may hold a key to our future, not because it's habitable, but because it shows us what happens when a planet tips over the edge. Billions of years ago, Venus may have had oceans, a temperate climate, and may have even looked, at a glance, like Earth. But something changed. Volcanic eruptions released immense quantities of carbon dioxide. Water evaporated, and with it, the planet's ability to cool itself. A runaway greenhouse effect took hold and never stopped. The result? A planet-wide extinction event on a global scale, and it never recovered. Studying Venus isn't just about curiosity, it's about urgency, because Earth is warming too, and Venus stands as a warning, a cosmic monument to what happens when balance is lost. Let's break down just how alien Venus really is. The surface is hot enough to melt lead, around 475 degrees Celsius. Winds scream through the upper atmosphere at over 200 miles per hour. The air is mostly carbon dioxide, laced with clouds of sulfuric acid droplets that would strip paint off metal in seconds. And yet, there's traces of lightning, hints of strange magnetic behaviors, and the entire planet rotates backwards, a phenomenon known as retrograde rotation. Venus completes one spin every 243 Earth days, and that spin is opposite to every other major planet in the solar system. Some scientists believe this could be the result of an ancient planetary collision, a colossal impact that knocked Venus into its slow, reverse dance. Could this collision have been the catalyst for Venus's downfall? Could it have destabilized its climate and tilted the balance towards chaos? NASA's Veritas mission is slated to launch in the early 2030s. Its goal? To map the surface of Venus with incredible precision, using synthetic aperture radar. Veritas will pierce the thick clouds to uncover ancient volcanoes, tectonic shifts, and evidence of past water. ESA's Envision mission will complement this with high-resolution spectrometry, analyzing the planet's chemistry and searching for signs of geological activity. Together, these missions will help answer the biggest questions. Was Venus ever habitable? Could it still have microbial life in the clouds? What is driving the planet's strange behavior today? And then there's Rocket Lab, a private company preparing to send a small probe directly into Venus's atmosphere by 2025. This tiny explorer could confirm or refute the phosphine signal once and for all. Never before have we had so many eyes preparing to return to this forgotten world. For millennia, Venus was a symbol of love, beauty, and femininity. The morning star, the evening star, always visible, always mysterious. Ancient cultures charted its movements. The Maya tracked Venus's cycles with astounding accuracy. In Roman mythology, it was the goddess of desire. But across cultures, Venus also has been linked to war, catastrophe, and rebirth. In many creation myths, Venus represents duality, beauty hiding danger, light masking fire. How fitting, then, that the real Venus mirrors this mythology, dazzling from afar, terrifying up close. There's a radical question. What if, instead of fleeing from Venus, we transformed it? Some futurists and space engineers have proposed long-term plans to terraform Venus. The most extreme proposals suggested building floating cities in the upper atmosphere, where pressure and temperature are relatively Earth-like. Others propose orbiting mirrors to cool the planet, or seeding the clouds with engineered bacteria to initiate chemical reactions that would reduce greenhouse gases. These are dreams for the distant future, But they raise a powerful idea that no world, no matter how hostile, is truly off limits to human ingenuity. If we can learn to understand Venus, perhaps one day we can learn to live there. Venus is many things: a sister, a warning, a mystery, and maybe, someday, a destination. But above all, it's a reminder that the cosmos isn't cold and empty. It's alive with forces we barely understand, some of them welcoming, others deeply alien. We once reached for Venus, and it reached back with fire. Now we're reaching again. Let's hope we're ready for what comes next.